That manufacturing is still being done. It's just being done in other countries. It is still
for wages we will not work for.
That's exactly right. You're right, Bill. That's what the tariffs are for. They are to make American workers more competitive in the global market.
His audience was not even on her side at first. You see them kind of like boo.
No, the instant that she mentioned the word tariffs, they all because the left has made it a trigger words.
Yeah.
Like they do with racism with black people. The instant you say racism,
that's what the tariffs are for.
Racist. The same. Now they've done it with the word tariff.
I was watching this video though of him talking to where he's talking to that one girl about this, and she pretty much just annihilated him. I think they're talking about a tariff, but it was interesting seeing her know more than him. She literally schooled him on it. This is how it goes with these people. It's like he wants to stay with the Democratic Party, and you got this one woman here who I think she said she's a lefty, but she gets it. She gets why people like Donald Trump, why they want him to be in charge of things.
I want to answer the question about manufacturing in the 70s.
Oh, I don't blame you. I'll go back to that
too. So the reason people want to go back to the 70s is in the 70s, the largest share of our GDP was in the middle class. And that was not separate from the fact that 25% of our economy was in manufacturing.
Right, the largest share of our GDP
was in the middle class, the biggest chunk, the middle class,
most
people
of
who
what
were
was
middle
produced
income.
came from the middle, and now it comes from what? The rich.
Now, the top 20% controls over 50% of the GDP. Our economy was an upward funnel of wealth, and the largest share, which used to be in manufacturing, which gave a lot of working class people a middle class standard of living, now the largest share is in real estate and finance, meaning that asset-rich Americans are controlling over 50% of the GDP, and they have left the working class out of all of that prosperity that was generated. That manufacturing is still being done. It's just being done in other countries. It is still
for wages we will not work for.
That's exactly right. You're right, Bill. That's what the tariffs are for. They are to make American workers more competitive in the global market. Why are we accepting that there should be a race to the bottom? You know, China, what is its competitive advantage over us? It's that it pays slave wages. Why should we accept that? They're still manufacturing our PPE, our pharmaceuticals, our cars. They're making all that stuff. Trump says there are 5 industries that we cannot have any kind of national security without having a stake in them. Pharmaceuticals, lumber, steel, aluminum, and I forget what the 5th one was. But these are really important that we have a stake in the manufacturing of the things that we need as a nation so that when China decides that it wants to go to war against us, we're not relying on them for steel and aluminum in order to fight them.
Okay, well, at least that's an answer.
So this is the difference. So yeah, this is the difference between career politicians and a businessman. See, Trump creates. He creates jobs. He's created companies. They like to say bad things about him in his business life, but in all actuality, Trump employs a lot of people. So he understands manufacturing. He understands all of those things. These career politicians don't care because they don't produce anything. They make laws and they pass, they make laws and pass bills and things like that. But they don't actually make things and create jobs. Not really.
No.
You know what I mean? And that's why the money is being sent all to these rich people and not to the middle class. It's because small businesses, like even when you think about the pandemic, a whole lot of businesses, small businesses and businesses have been around, they are gone and never to come back. Because Joe Biden told people not to go to work. And he told people that they couldn't open their businesses up. And so all the money is going to Jeff Bezos.
Yeah. It's
You know what I mean?
Now. And Bill Maher, he heard what she was saying, right? But what I think what happens with people like Bill Maher who are in that bubble and that very, very rich, super rich, right? He's not paying attention to the middle class, working class. When he talks about Trump and Trump's policies and the things that he's doing, he forgets to talk about the manufacturing part. You know why he forgets to do that? Like she was just eloquently just put. The reason why he forgets to talk about the manufacturing part is because that doesn't do anything for him. That's not his.
Yeah.
He's not thinking about that part of America. He's only thinking that, we all have to hate Trump. But you're not talking about the reason why. No, I mean, you have to find it very fascinating why so many middle class and even poor people voted for Trump.
Yeah.
That has to be intriguing to you, because the only thing that I would be thinking, if I were Bill and I was someone who, you know, if I at least thought outside the box a little bit, why would they vote for a man like that? They don't even have any money. They're poor or whatever. It's because he's thinking about them.
Yeah.
So much so that he's doing things to help the middle class. But people like Bill, and hear this woman talk about this, she's not understanding, and she sees it. Like, she's like, that clip went viral, and went viral because it shows how disconnected he is from real Americans, real, like, the heart of America. He's so disconnected. His audience was not even on her side at first. You see them kind of like boo.
No, but the instant that she mentioned the word tariffs, they all because the left has made it a trigger words.
Yeah.
Like they do with racism with black people. The instant you say racism,
that's what the tariffs are for.
Racist. The same, now they've done it with the word tariff. You know, and it's just like they hear the word tariff, no, but she's making a good point.
Yeah, very good point.
This is why even with Elon Musk, I worry about him making everything, you know, machinery.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like what
robots, making robots
right.
and stuff like that.
Like people have to have stuff to do. Human beings have to be doing stuff. You know what I mean? The Democratic Party loves social programs. They love, like, what's his name? The Asian guy that was on the left that ran for president. He wanted to do the universal basic income.
Yeah.
They love things where people just get a monthly thing and then just don't talk anymore. You get your welfare
Such a
and,
bad
and
idea.
then be quiet. You know what I
needs
mean?
to be capitalism
They
only.
love all these like programs for the Department of Education, all these things where they take care of you.
Right. Yes.
And they tell you how much you can make. But that's not America. America, you know, people in America, they want to have autonomy. They want to be able to make their own decisions. This is why the vaccine when Joe Biden was telling everybody they had to take the vaccine, that's why it was annoying. Because suddenly the My Body, My Choice was telling us we can't have, you know, what we can do with our own body. Now they're doing it with our money.
Yeah.
They're sending all of our jobs overseas. And Trump is trying to say that this is not right. And it isn't right. This is why he won the first time. He ran on the fact of Bill Clinton's trade deal, which was horrible.
Right.
And he won on that.
Donald Trump is, like Kara said, businessman. The fact that he's a businessman was enough for me to vote for him alone, because I don't think the politicians have the answers. Politicians mostly get rich off of politics, and that is backwards. That's not supposed to happen, you know. And Donald Trump, that's not the case. The case is we already know he's a rich man. You have these people like Bill Maher. They refuse to really look at it. They refuse to really see, you know, like, what are the Democrats doing wrong? You know, like, what? I don't understand. You know, the orange man's bad. You know, it's like you guys are filled with such contempt for this person that you're not even willing to see that he's trying to keep our country safe. He is trying to keep our manufacturing here as much as possible. He's trying to keep it here so we keep us employed, and make sure that you're keeping the migrants out, the illegal migrants out, because they are lowering our rates of work. They are lowering our dollar. They're getting free stuff. You know what I mean? Like, he's trying to make sure that America's first.
He's been saying other countries been ripping us off for years.
For years.
You know what I mean? And now, and people have known that. Even the liberals, they've been saying that for years. But now that it just goes to show you that the instant you see someone take action, then you run back home.
Yeah.
Because you're used to that dysfunction. You're afraid of what could be. So you're used to the same propaganda all the time. You know what I mean? And I just think, like, Bill is not, like I said, Bill is not a father. He's not going to be a grandfather. He doesn't own any businesses. He's basically a rich employee.
Right.
And a lot of people that aren't owning things, they don't own a home, they don't understand what it means to have private property, to invest your life into something. Because if a business fails, that's your money.
Yeah.
You go down with it. And so you would say, like, our founding fathers really didn't want career politicians running our country.
They wanted
that was never the plan.
Yeah.
Was not to have people like AOC to go from a bartender to just spending the rest of her life
getting rich off politics.
Because that's what they all are. Joe Biden has not had a real job in his whole life. He's been 50 years in politics, destroying the country in politics, and he's never really had to own a business. Most of them don't know what it means to own a business. They've only been in politics. That's it. And I'm talking about Republicans too. Yeah. I'm not just talking about Democrats. I'm talking about Republicans too. So Donald Trump is a businessman coming in with businessman mentality. And he's understanding because he's had to work with these other countries as a businessman.
Right.
You know, these people don't really get that. And it's funny because as soon as she said tariffs, they all started booing.
I know.
To her credit, she punched the point so they could say, like, oh. Even Bill had to then turn around and be like, oh,
because
okay.
She explained it perfectly. This is what it means when we say America first. We are America First Party. And that just means that even for, and I mean this like sincerely, for even the Democrats that have a problem with anything that we say, I'm going to keep fighting and pushing the narrative of, you know, what Trump is doing and making sure we're getting out what he's saying and doing, because that's going to help you too. Even though you don't like what we're saying, I want you to succeed.
Yeah.
But so I don't feel like I have to down anyone.
Right.
I think that we need to support the president that is actively transparently trying to show you what he is doing. And I don't think that we have ever actually had this before, this type of president, you know, and with people like Bill Maher, it's, I guess, a little unsettling of how far removed he actually is, that he doesn't even really necessarily, in my opinion, care about the middle class. He doesn't care about middle America. He's not talking about those people. He's so laser focused on hating Donald Trump and getting that message out. That's the more important message, but not the message that she brought out.
Right.
So she's bringing out the message of, we want to keep manufacturing here. We want to hire, you know, American workers. You know, we want to make sure that we keep it all here. But he didn't hear that.
Yeah, we want to be the lenders, not the borrowers.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And for Republicans, it's like we want to take care of home first.
Yeah.
You take care of your house first.
Every country does it.
That the country,
Every other country does it.
Right.
That's what's another part
Democrats
of
say, let's take care of everybody else, and then we take care of ourselves. That makes no sense. Again, tail wagging the dog.
Yeah.
That doesn't make any sense. We bankrupt our own country to help other countries. You know, it just doesn't make sense. And, you know, we open up our borders, but then we don't guard our borders. Right. We let illegal people come in and then terrorize us. But then we go to Israel and Ukraine. And we spend all this money, billions for their borders. You know, we give our jobs to other countries, but then we don't take care of the people who need to work in our country.
What Trump is doing right now is completely normal with every other country's leader. What they're doing for their own countries. They're all thinking about their countries first and making sure they're able to find a way to make their citizens happy and make us be able to kind of live a good life, which is why he's talked about, you know, making it the golden era again.
A lot of these countries have tariffs on us.
Yeah, that's what they talked about
for many years. And that's why Trump said we've been getting ripped off by a lot of these other countries. And now he's pushing back like you're supposed to as a leader. And now these people, these Democrats who always wanted this, by the way, they're all so mad at Trump and Elon Musk that they don't realize that Doge is a good thing. Tariffs are a good thing. Because when used properly, you use your muscle.
Yeah.
If you're always just giving your money up all the time and hemorrhaging money, as we're finding out Doge, just giving our money away.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Then we become a weakened country.
It's like it's like all these, like you said, we're being ripped off. You know, like essentially what's happening is that we're being penalized for being powerful. And while I understand the sentiment on that, see, this is you know what I mean? Like we have to get that clear. The sentiment on that is like, well, you guys don't have all the money, so you guys should be giving out a bunch of money. No, that's not what it means. It means that our country is a powerful country, you know, and if you want to be a powerful country yourself, then you're going to have some good leadership and economists that know how to build your country and be able to have good trade deals, which is what our country did in a short period of time. We are not an old country.
Baby country.
Yeah, we're not an old country like the other ones. And so we should not just be getting penalized because we're a powerful country. It does not mean that we're bullying other countries because we're asking for our fair share and for other people to give out their fair share. That's not no.
You have to have you have to use your muscle and you have to be able to make good, solid business decisions. You can't walk around acting like you're a weakling all the time, just giving in to stuff, especially like again, people like Don Lemon and even Bill Maher, they're getting paid by the system.
Yeah.
That's why they could sit there and pretend like they could sit there and just kind of lie to us. You know, like Bill Maher, he's kind of telling the truth.
But he's smug about it, so it's like you don't really... He's telling the truth.
But he knows better. Because the same people who pay Don Lemon are the same people who pay him. You know what I mean?
I would say that Bill Maher is someone who tells the truth with caution.
Yeah.
No.
I think that Bill Maher don't need, he's $100 million.
He's done.
He's got a lot of money. I think that he tells the semi-truth, as Danielle says, because he really doesn't need to work anymore.
No, he's done.
If they get rid of him, he'll be swimming in money for the rest of his life. But I think that because he has no family, this is his life.
Right.
And he don't want to get rid of that. He doesn't want to not be on TV. And so he kind of plays the game, because if he gets rid of his job, he really doesn't have anything else but money. That's it. He's literally, giving up any kind of family life for his job.
And he
doesn't want to get rid of that.
He's under some kind of weird delusion or just plain old lie that he's fighting for the little guy. You're not.
So he's basically saying what you just said.
Yeah.
He said that as long, I don't care what they do, I'm always going to be a liberal. So I'm always going to vote, even if it's against my own interest, because I'm going to vote blue no matter who. That's dumb.
Yeah. He recently said that people are saying, oh, Bill Maher's kind of going to the right.
No.
And he said, no, Bill Maher's not going that way. Bill Maher is going to be Bill Maher, and I'm going to. So he has no intentions.
Yeah.
Of even looking at progress, even in his face. So even if Donald Trump is making progress, he won't acknowledge it.
Yeah.
For the sake of the party, and that is the problem with Democrats, is that they won't acknowledge things for just the sake of their party.
Yeah, right.
And that is what's going to be the downfall of the downfall of the Democratic Party.
It's true, And
and
even like with people on the right saying, "Oh, well, wokeism dead." No, it's not.
No,
it reinvents itself every single time.
That's
wokeism
true.
was during the civil rights era, the flapper era. It always comes back around somehow. It just reinvents itself.
It's just dormant right now, but
it's just communism. But they can't say communism.
Yeah.
They have to call it socialism. It's democratic socialism.
Sounds cute, right? No,
sounds cute.
It's not. It's still socialism.
Whoa.
First of all, the moment someone starts talking about socialism, understand that's the gateway to communism. That's the socialism starts it. Communism just ends it. This is where you're at now.
They just reinvent themselves. They realize now they kind of lost the battle here.
Yeah.
And so what they're going to do is try to get back in power, and then they're going to reinvent it and try to go back onto the agenda, because Trump kind of disrupted. Disrupted the flow.
Yeah.
But look, the people like Bill Maher, because make no mistake, Bill Maher and Don Lemon are the same person. One sounds a little bit more, I guess, normal, because
logical, I guess you would say,
but both of them will serve the master of the Democratic Party if need be. They're not going to. Bill Maher's not going to be a Republican.
No,
it's just not. He would literally quit his job in order to do that.
And Donald will stay liberal for sure.
The whole shebang is just all to get power back, and they're just trying to see if they can. They're just waiting for Trump to do something wrong so they can exploit it every single time. It's like when Elon Musk did the, take my heart thing or you have my heart thing. They tried it with that. It didn't work. It fell flat. Yeah. After that, it didn't last long. And they're just trying to find some way or something he does so that they can exploit it.
They're waiting for the 100 days to come. That way they didn't get anything done.
He didn't get anything done.
Well, we just see he got things done.
Right.
It's, for some reason, the standards are set a little different for Trump, huh?
Right.
Isn't that interesting? I guess he's a president. The standards are set a little bit different. I don't get that.
They don't.
Okay.
Right. It's like, you guys don't want people to make money?
Yeah.
You guys you don't want people to make money. You guys want to be rich, but they don't care.
They don't care. They don't care because it's not part of their...
Don Lemon was about that life when he first was on CNN.
Yeah.
Because black people, if you really want to fix the problem, here's just 5 things that you should think about doing. Here's number 5. And if this doesn't apply to you, if you're not doing this, then it doesn't apply to you. I'm not talking about you. Here's number 5. Pull up your pants. Number 4 now is the N-word. Now number 3. Respect where you live. Start small by not dropping trash, littering in your own community. Number 2. Finish school. You want to break the cycle of poverty? Stop telling kids are acting white because they go to school or they speak proper English. And number 1, and probably the most important, just because you can have a baby, it doesn't mean you should. More than 72% of children in the African American community are born out of wedlock. That means absent fathers. And the studies show that lack of a male role model is an express train right to prison.
He was the one telling people that black people, y'all need to clean up.
He tried
act like a man and
they
pull
like,
up your, pull up your pants, and
they got him to the side and got him right.
And they're like, look, that is not. You do never tell black people the truth. Ever tell black people the truth, or give them any kind of feeling that they can leave this plantation. That is not a thing. They are our base.
They probably took them to the back, and said, "You realize you just chastised our base."
Right. Why do you think that everywhere you turn, there's a black woman running her mouth on the Democratic Party? At every platform. It's always a black woman, always. You know what I mean? You even had Roland Martin with that shirt, vote like a black woman. This is what they do. You know what I mean? And it works because black women, they are nowhere. They are not coming over anytime soon. The black men maybe, but...
It's like 90% of black women voted for Kamala Harris.
Right.
Ouch.
You know, so just look. They like black women so much they even told us that Kamala was black. Like they'll use black women for anything to get us out.
That was a cool trick. All right, you guys. Let us know what you think about this. Tell us your thoughts. Leave some comments below, and that's it. We'll see you in the next video.